If you're listening to this episode in real time, meaning it's currently early June of 2023, I am excited to share with you about our upcoming 21-day challenge. It's a travel freezer challenge. So if you have never participated in one of the Prep Dish challenges, they are so much fun. If you're a current subscriber, they're a great way to kind of enhance what you're already doing. And if you've never tried us out, it's a good way to kind of dip your toes in and get a sense of what it can feel like to be more prepared when it comes to meals. And with the freezer challenges, it's fun because what we are doing is stocking our freezer. So those days when you have no time and you need to figure out a meal, a snack, a breakfast. If you have a freezer that's stocked with, easy, healthy, homemade meals, you are going to save yourself on those days. So with this specific challenge, each week is kind of a different theme. So one week you will be filling your freezer up with some travel snacks. So if you have any travel plans for your summer, these are great. These are also just good for grab and go snacks all summer long. Things like sun butter bites, cinnamon toast popcorn baggies, some muffins, and some little kind of breakfast type cookies. And then we also have a week focused on stocking up with breakfast. So smoothies, granolas, egg muffins, those kind of foods, making sure that you have items in your freezer that can make breakfast quick and easy. And then also some marinades. So kind of each week is a theme and you will be stocking up your freezer. This is going on June 10th and for 21 days. Now, you don't have to do it in real time. Like, it is fun if you do it all together as a group, but you'll be getting access to these recipes. So you can kind of shift the timing as needed to make it work with your schedule. But for more details, head to prepdish.com/challenge. But also a reminder that if you are already a Prep Dish premium subscriber, these challenges are free as part of your premium subscription. But otherwise, head to prepdish.com/challenge to see the details. I hope to see you there. Welcome to another episode of the Meal Prep Monday podcast. I'm your host and founder of Prep Dish, Allison Schaaf. Today, I'm wrapping up our series on road trips and talking specifically about snacks. I'm going to include 10 different ideas for road trip snacks, as well as just talk more about strategies and things to keep in mind. Before getting into the talk about snacks, a reminder that if you have not tried out our time-saving meal prep meal plans, you can head to prepdish.com/mpm and try us out for 2 weeks for free. What will you get when you try them out? Well, you will have access to a login where you can access all of our different meal plans, everything from gluten-free to paleo. We even have a low-carb plan. But where I recommend you start is with our super fast plans. These plans are family-friendly meals that are really quick and easy. So all you need to do is follow the instructions for buying groceries. We give you the list. I mean, basically the deal here is we don't want you to have to think about your meals. We want to do it for you, right? So I want to say for this week, let Prep Dish do the heavy lifting. Let us think about what to do. All you have to do is follow our very specific instructions. Here is what to buy. Here is how to do the prep and see how it goes. See if your family likes it. See, our goal is to have healthy food, but to have it taste good. So hopefully your family will be enjoying really tasty, delicious food that was easy to make. And then as a bonus, it's going to be healthy. And hopefully you will all be feeling better knowing that you are fueling your body with healthy foods. So that's kind of the short and long of it. If you have not tried us out, head again to prepdish.com/mpm for 2 weeks for free. And I'd love to hear from you how it goes. Okay, so wrapping up on road trips. If you haven't listened to the last 2 weeks of episodes, you may want to go back. I talk a little bit about planning a road trip and our recent road trip that we did from North Carolina to Maine with 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. the next episode, I talked more specifically about food and meals and was going to get into snacks, ran out of time and decided it would be good to do just an entire episode on snacks during travel. This is during road trips, but honestly, it would be for any travel and, some good ideas for snacking in general, both for yourself as well as kids. So when it comes to travel with kids, though, I do think snacks become a lot more important, especially for a trip like a road trip. Like the timing is just never going to be exactly perfect. Meal timing especially was never completely in our control, right? Like we were meeting up with a lot of friends and family. And that meant kind of shifting to whatever, maybe what time they got off of work. If they were inviting us to their house for a meal, like we couldn't do hey, every day we have lunch at 11:30. Every night we have dinner between 5 and 5:30. We were really kind of a lot more flexible in terms of the timing of meals. And in order to make that work with little kids, it's very important to always have snacks. And, this also meant, and I don't know that I was trying to think if I would consider it a mistake or it's more just like really a lesson learned with kind of this whole trip in terms of the kids being off of their food routine specifically. It did mean that we relied a lot more heavily on snacks. One thing I have talked about in past episodes, especially with picky eaters, is like, okay, if your kid is not eating much at dinner time or lunchtime, at any of the meals, one thing to look at is this a picky eater or are they having a snack too close to mealtime? And that could be the case. And I will say I saw this play out 100% most days with my kids when we were traveling. They did not eat much at mealtime. And it wasn't that they didn't, like a lot of times the meal times were like way more, things that they would never complain about. Like we had a lot of like meals that were like hamburgers or cheeseburgers with French fries and like things that like, most any kid is just going to like gobble up and like their food, like they just almost some meals like wouldn't even touch it. Well, why was this happening? It's because we were going so heavy on the snacks. And I don't even know that there's a like, oh, I would have done it differently because I'm not going to have them not have a snack when, if dinner's not until 6:30 and they're used to having dinner at 5, well, you're going to otherwise have a meltdown. So, it's not as if I would have really done anything differently, but I will just say like, I saw it play out time and time again that my kids were not great eaters at a lot of the meals. And it wasn't because they were picky eaters, because again, like I've seen over the years, like all of this stuff that was at the meals were things they would normally eat. It was just that we were going so heavy on the snacks and there just kind of wasn't a way around it. So it wasn't good, bad, or anything. It's just, that's just how it is. But that does go to show like, if this is an issue that you're having at home, where you do have more control over the routine, like on a normal day-to-day basis, snacks are really something to look at. And even like, oh gosh, I saw, who was it? I think it was my friend Katie Kimball who does the Kids Cook Real Food. She talks about picky eating a lot. And one reminder she gives is like a glass of milk is a snack, right? Because a glass of milk has protein, carbs, fat, and that's fine. But if if your child's having a huge glass of milk right before dinner or an hour before dinner, that might fill them up. So if they're like not eating a lot at dinner, don't automatically go to picky eating, go to like, maybe they're just not that hungry. So I know that was a big tangent, but we do get so many questions on picky eating. And I just want to kind of share that like, wow, I really saw that play out. And at the same time, I would still say, when you're traveling, make sure you have lots of snacks. It's important for them to, you don't want to just like, oh, they need to be hungry at dinner, so we're not going to let them eat. And, that's going to backfire because you're going to end up with cranky kids that are like throwing a tantrum. So just make sure you have healthy snacks on hand, and that can kind of keep everybody happy, and know that sometimes that's going to be at the sacrifice of them eating much at dinner, but that's okay too. So what kind of snacks? Well, I guess, okay, I have a list of 10 that I put together of things that we used a lot of. And then also, I guess just always having these on hand, right? Like we would always kind of look at our snack bag and be like, okay, do we need to replenish? We tried to go to grocery stores as much as possible. I mean, there were times where we ended up at a gas station just trying to see what they had there. Gas stations usually have pretty healthy options nowadays. You can find something not quite as healthy as what you could find at a grocery store and usually more expensive. So I just found it easier to try and have incorporate regular trips to a grocery store as well. Number one snack is fruit. So we just always had fruit on hand: apples, berries, oranges, bananas, whatever we could find. We would make sure to have fruit on hand. This was just a great snack for all of us to have available. And also like hydrating, right? Because a lot of snacks, especially like car snacks or travel snacks, can be a little dehydrating. And so I think it's nice to have some things that are not like, and I had some small boxes of like raisins and stuff, but I think it's nice to have the fresh fruit so that, again, they do have some hydrating foods. The next one, crackers. I mean, those are just a nice one that are very like shelf stable and good to have. Cheese sticks. My boys love cheese sticks. These, it is nice to have a cooler or, a lot of gas stations I found had them. So sometimes like I would just get, a few at the gas station knowing that we would eat them in the next few hours and I didn't have to worry about a cooler. Chips. This is something I even brought from home. A few we had like while we traveled on the airplane and a few in the suitcase just because we had extra room. But I had bought, kind of a variety here of like, sweet potato chips and different things like that. But those, and then actually I didn't include popcorn, but I would kind of put popcorn in the chip category. And then the next one, meat sticks. Oh my gosh, my kids love meat sticks. And there's a lot of like healthier options out there. In my experience, most grocery stores now have, things like grass-fed meat sticks without a lot of, sugars or the nitrates and nitrites and just kind of healthier versions of meat sticks. But good to have some protein options, especially because, like I said, a lot of times our snacks for the kids did end up almost taking the place of some of the meals just because of the timing. So I did like to make sure that their snacks included some fruits and some veggies and some protein and stuff. Baby carrots. These I'm putting in their own category. Just they're so easy to buy and have. And one thing we've been working on is, I think this is going to be an episode. I haven't put it together yet, but chewing your food and really having food that needs to be kind of get that really deep jaw stimulation. And baby carrots any carrots are great for this. And you can buy regular carrots. Sometimes I would buy regular if we were at an Airbnb and I could quickly like chop them. But this is really good to get in that nice big, crunchy craving that you might have. Or anyway, get more into that in another episode. But that's one. Olives. Both of my kids love olives. I love olives. There was actually a little pack of olives at a gas station, but I've also there's little packs of olives that you can buy at the grocery store as well. Or of course you could buy a jar and split it up into little baggies or something. Nuts, large variety. I tried to always have some on hand if we'd go through, say, the cashews, then at the next stop, I would just, pick another nut to keep the variety up, but those are a good one to have. And then veggie sticks, any kind of nice crunchy, like, cucumber, celery. This was especially true when we would be at an Airbnb. I'd try and like restock up on some of those. And, also sometimes you can buy them in the like convenience section of the grocery store, some like pre-cut veggies or even like a veggie tray is good to stock up on. You can take a veggie tray and have that on the road. At the very beginning of the trip before, like when we were still in Texas, I made some Rice Crispie bars. It's a prep dish recipe. I believe it's on our website. If it is, I'll link it in the show notes. But that was nice. I froze it and then kind of took it on the plane and had it for kind of a few days. We pulled from those as well. And then that's already at my 10, but I thought of another one that I wanted to mention, which is kind of a hack, is if you're at an Airbnb and you buy eggs. One thing we would always do is if I bought eggs and we didn't go through all of them for our breakfast, I would always hard boil the rest of them and then take those that day for snacks. And again, like if you're not going to eat them within a few hours, those do need to have a cooler, but usually it would be like, hey, I have like 3 or 4 eggs here that are left over and we could get through those pretty easily. But that's a good way to use up the rest of those eggs that you maybe didn't get through. I would just, as I'm making breakfast, like hard boil those and take those with us, and a good way to get through all of your all of the items that you're buying for your Airbnb meals. Okay, so that is the list of snacks and snacking ideas. Again, I feel like it's just really, yes, before kids, I would have snacks, but I can always survive without snacks. But with kids, so important to make sure that you have some healthy snacks on hand. And if you find that they are filling up a little more on snacks when you're traveling than maybe you are when you're at home, I say, that's fine. Go with it. I would try to kind of set the expectations when we sit down to meals with like family or friends of like, because I think sometimes other people like to have concerns of like, oh, they're not eating much. And, it's easy to see as a parent when you see how much they've filled up on snacks that maybe they aren't going to eat as much at mealtime. But again, when you're off the routine, there's just not much of a way around that. So I would just kind of go with it. And the good thing about kids is they are good about, getting their calories in and listening to their body and knowing what they need. So I just let them kind of do their thing and do my part to provide them with, healthy snacks so that they have those available to them when they need them. Okay. Well, I hope this episode is helpful. If any of you guys have road trips planned for the summer or the fall, would love to hear from you. If you have additional questions or things you want me to cover, let me know. Or just let me know where you're going. I'd love to hear what your plans are. I'm at Prep Dish on Instagram, or we also have a Facebook group that I will link in the show notes. Feel free to join us there and let us know what you have planned. And another reminder that if you haven't tried out our time-saving meal plans, you can go to prepdish.com/MPM and try us out for 2 weeks for free. I think that's the best way to, see if it's a fit. Just get on there and let us do the planning for you for a few weeks. See how it goes. See if it's a fit. If not, you can cancel and, pretty risk-free there. So that's prepdish.com/MPM. That's all I have for this week. A quick reminder that if you have not left a rating and review and you're a regular listener of the podcast, please do that. I would just so appreciate you sharing your feedback, and that helps other people to find our podcast. And one last thing before I go, a reminder to check out prepdish.com/challenge to join us in our next 21 days of stocking up our freezer with snacks and breakfast items and marinades so that you are prepared this summer for whatever it has to throw at you. You are going to have healthy meals and snacks ready to go. Again, it's prepdish.com/challenge for the details. This kicks off on June 10th, and I hope you will join us. That's all for this week. I will be back again next Monday with another episode.